You wouldn't believe it if you saw it. Atlanta Airport, one of the busiest transport hubs in the world, is eerily empty. The massive international arrival halls, once built to welcome millions of visitors from across the globe, now stand still, resembling a ghost town. The sharp decline in tourism to the U.S. is no accident. It's part of a larger trend. The U.S. is facing a global boycott as countries redirect their tourism elsewhere. As tensions rise, nations are choosing to bypass the United States. The real question is, can America recover from this shock? What's truly behind these countries turning their backs on the U.S.? And which countries are leading the charge in this boycott? Watch the video to learn more about this alarming situation and its far-reaching impacts. If this video hits 1,000 likes, we will reveal which countries are leading the boycott against U.S. tourism and how they're redirecting global tourism. Don't forget to comment 1 if you agree, 0 if you disagree with this shift. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to like, share, and leave a sub to support us. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world, used to welcome millions of travelers from all over the globe. However, the atmosphere here has drastically changed. A strange silence now blankets the airport, with security checkpoints and waiting areas no longer as crowded as they once were. The employees working here, from security staff to shop workers and flight attendants, have all noticed a significant shift in their daily routines. This quietness is completely unexpected, especially given that this airport regularly ranks as one of the busiest in the world. What's notable is that this sudden change hasn't been a short-lived phenomenon. It has persisted for months. The international terminals, once packed with travelers from all over, have now become eerily empty spaces. International flights have been canceled or reduced significantly. This signals a major shift in global tourism, not just due to the pandemic or temporary factors, but also because of long-term changes such as stricter immigration policies and decisions by international airlines. One of the main reasons for this shift is the stricter immigration policies imposed by the U.S. government. New visa regulations, tighter security checks, and policies that are not very welcoming to international tourists have caused many to hesitate about visiting the U.S. While these policies were initially implemented for controlling the spread of the pandemic or improving security, they have indirectly caused a sharp decline in international visitors. This not only affects the number of tourists, but also has a significant impact on industries related to tourism, such as hotels, transportation, and general tourism services. Moreover, changes in the strategies of international airlines have contributed to making the situation worse. Major airlines have started to reduce international flights, adjust routes, and decrease the number of flights to U.S. cities. This is not only affecting international passengers, but also posing a major challenge to the airline industry and airports like Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta, which rely on international traffic to maintain smooth operations. These factors have created an unexpectedly quiet and unusual situation at Atlanta Airport. This could raise concerns about the future of international tourism, especially for the U.S., which was once considered a top destination for global travelers. However, from this change, there are important lessons to be learned. First, relying too heavily on a single group of international tourists or one industry can pose significant risks. The tourism and airline sectors cannot just depend on immigration policies or decisions made by airlines. They need to be flexible and adapt to global shifts. Second, changes in immigration policy can impact not just the number of tourists, but also the country's economy. Airports, hotels, dining services, and transportation all face significant challenges from changes in these policies. This highlights the importance of building a diverse travel and transport system that doesn't overly rely on a single source of revenue. Finally, a lack of preparation and adaptability in the tourism sector could lead to nations and cities becoming isolated in the age of globalization. Countries that do not warmly and openly welcome international tourists could face long-term consequences as other nations, such as Canada, Japan, and Mexico, seize the opportunity to attract tourists and expand their tourism industries. In conclusion, the strange quietness at Atlanta Airport serves as a warning signal for the U.S. tourism sector and other countries. It is crucial to reflect on these changes and implement more flexible policies to safeguard the tourism and airline industries in the context of globalization. We must learn from these shifts to build a sustainable tourism industry that is not overly dependent on any single factor, ensuring long-term growth and stability. Las Vegas Airport, famous as a popular destination for international travelers, is now witnessing a completely different scene. Areas that were once bustling with people, from check-in counters to international departure gates, are now quiet and less crowded. The significant drop in international passengers has turned the airport into a tranquil space, no longer as lively as before. This marks a significant change for one of the busiest airports in the world. International airlines, such as Korean Air, have reduced flights to Las Vegas by as much as 60%. Even China Eastern Airlines, one of the major Chinese carriers, has completely halted flights to this city. Las Vegas, long known for its international events, entertainment, and casinos, is now facing major challenges with a dramatic decrease in international visitors. This can be explained by various factors, such as changes in immigration policies, adjustments in airlines' operational strategies, and the global impacts of events like the COVID-19 pandemic or political instability. Regardless of the cause, this sharp decline is causing Las Vegas, a city historically reliant on international tourism, to face an uncertain economic future. The impact is not limited to the airport. It is also affecting many other service sectors in the city, from hotels, restaurants, and casinos to entertainment activities, all suffering losses due to the reduction in international visitors. Las Vegas, once a symbol of the U.S. tourism industry, now needs to find sustainable solutions to recover and attract international travelers once again. Orlando Airport, one of Florida's key airports and the gateway for millions of international tourists visiting Disney World, is currently experiencing a noticeable decline in international passenger traffic. Flights from countries such as Brazil and the United Kingdom have sharply decreased, directly impacting the number of international visitors to the area. Orlando, with Disney World as the main attraction, has traditionally drawn a massive influx of tourists from these countries. However, the reduction in international flights has resulted in a significant drop in the number of tourists arriving in the region. This decline not only affects the tourism industry, but also has a strong impact on the overall economy of Florida. Orlando, known as a major tourism hub in the U.S., particularly due to the presence of Disney World and other famous theme parks, generates substantial revenue from tourism. Resorts, restaurants, retail shops, and entertainment services in the city are all dependent on international visitors. With the drop in international visitors, especially from large markets like Brazil and the UK, Florida's economy is facing significant challenges. Local businesses have felt the loss of tourism revenue, as international tourists typically spend more than domestic travelers. This impact extends beyond the directly related industries to other sectors such as transportation, services, and construction. Furthermore, large-scale events frequently held at Disney World, which are a significant source of revenue for Orlando and Florida as a whole, are also affected by the sharp decline in international visitors. This not only reduces the revenue from these events, but also impacts job creation for thousands of people in the region. This situation highlights a broader reality that the tourism industry in the U.S., and particularly in Florida, is facing considerable challenges in attracting international visitors. Restoring the tourism sector in the future requires flexible and creative policies that can meet the changing needs of international tourists while fostering sustainable growth for the local economy. Hawaii, known as a prominent tourist destination in the U.S., has been facing a severe decline in international visitors, particularly from Japan. Japan was once one of Hawaii's largest tourism markets, with millions of Japanese tourists visiting the islands each year. However, the reduction in direct flights from Japan has led to the loss of a significant portion of the island's tourism economy, impacting hotels, restaurants, and other tourism services. Additionally, tourists from South Korea, another key market for Hawaii, are now shifting to other destinations such as Guam and Saipan, which are closer and more affordable. This has resulted in significant losses for Hawaii's tourism industry, as these tourists once made up a substantial portion of visitors to the island's attractions and theme parks. The shift in travel trends further exacerbates the challenges faced by Hawaii's tourism sector, where revenue from international tourists has been a significant contributor. Hawaii, famous for its stunning nature, beautiful beaches, and rich culture, now faces the task of adapting and finding solutions to revive its international tourist traffic. Attracting back Japanese and South Korean visitors, along with developing domestic and regional tourism strategies, will be crucial for Hawaii to navigate this difficult period. Philadelphia Airport, with direct flights to Europe, has experienced a significant decline in international flights. Routes from Philadelphia to major European cities like London, Paris, and Frankfurt have been canceled or greatly reduced. This has not only affected the entertainment tourism industry, but also directly impacted academic and cultural tourism, especially in student exchange programs and international cultural exchanges. International cultural and educational exchange programs, which play a crucial role in connecting cultures and fostering global understanding, are now facing major difficulties. Universities and educational institutions in Philadelphia, which rely on international student participation, have also been affected as exchange programs struggle to maintain the number of international students. This decline not only impacts scholarships and international research collaborations, but also affects the diversity and quality of education at local academic institutions. The drop in international flights to Philadelphia highlights a reality that the tourism and international education sectors must adapt and develop new models to overcome unexpected changes in the context of globalization. Policies supporting international students and new initiatives to boost international exchange programs will be crucial in helping Philadelphia maintain and expand its educational and cultural relationships in the future. New Orleans, one of America's cultural landmarks, particularly renowned for its vibrant jazz music culture, has experienced a sharp decline in international flights. One notable change is the cessation of Air France's service from Paris to New Orleans. This not only impacts the tourism industry, but also severs a vital cultural link between France and the US, especially considering the deep historical ties New Orleans has with French culture. The termination of the direct flight service between Paris and New Orleans has had a significant impact on both the city's tourism industry and its cultural heritage. New Orleans, known for its rich jazz culture, French heritage, and lively music festivals, has now lost an important international connection. Tourists from Europe, especially from France, who made up a large portion of the city's international visitors, now face challenges in accessing the city. This is particularly serious for New Orleans, where jazz and live music events are integral to the city's identity. Jazz, a genre that originated in New Orleans, has drawn millions of international visitors to attend music festivals and live performances. However, with the loss of international flights from France, the city is not only losing a significant portion of its tourist traffic, but also missing out on important cultural exchanges with one of the countries that has played a major role in shaping its history and culture. The decline also affects industries tied to tourism, arts, and entertainment, diminishing the diversity of cultural and tourism activities. Nevertheless, New Orleans can still find ways to recover and grow by rebuilding international connections and focusing on developing flights from other countries to sustain the city's tourism and cultural development. Detroit Airport, one of the key airports in the Midwest region of the U.S., has witnessed a significant decline in its connections with European countries. Direct flights from Detroit to major European cities like London and Frankfurt have been canceled, which not only reduces air connectivity, but also diminishes the city's international presence. The decline in international flights has had a direct impact on tourism, business, and international conferences in Detroit. International events, especially important conferences in fields like automotive, technology, and manufacturing, are often held in the city. However, with the reduction of international flights, many conferences have moved to other cities like Toronto, where international flights remain stable. This has not only diminished Detroit's position as an international conference hub, but also resulted in significant losses for the local economy. This change emphasizes the importance of maintaining international connections in a globalized world, where cities not only need to develop their domestic economy, but also require a strong international network to sustain long-term growth. Denver Airport, one of the major U.S. airports and a key gateway for international tourism and business in Colorado, has also faced a significant decline in international flights. Direct flights to Europe, which are crucial for international visitors and businesses, have been drastically reduced. This directly impacts travel and connectivity between Denver and important markets in Europe. The reduction in the frequency of international flights has caused a noticeable decline in the region's economy. Colorado, especially Denver, has become a popular destination for international tourists. But the lack of international flights has led to a decrease in tourism. Industries such as hotels, restaurants, transportation, and other services have been affected by the reduced number of international visitors. Simultaneously, businesses in the region are facing challenges in connecting and expanding international partnerships with the reduction of direct flights. This change clearly shows that a city cannot maintain its growth without sustaining international relationships, especially in a global economy that increasingly depends on connectivity and international collaboration. Denver needs to find solutions to restore its international flight network and attract international tourists to ensure sustainable growth in the future. Boston Logan Airport, one of the largest and most important airports in the Northeast U.S., is currently facing a significant decline in direct international flights, particularly from Europe. Flights to major cities like London, Paris, and Frankfurt have been sharply reduced, leading to a noticeable impact on Boston's tourism and academic sectors. The city, renowned for its top universities like Harvard and MIT, has long attracted a large number of international students and scholars, but now faces significant challenges as international flights become fewer. The reduction in direct flights from Europe not only affects tourists, but also has a direct impact on academic and research activities in Boston. International students who contribute significantly to the development of the city's universities will now face difficulties accessing Boston. Additionally, international conferences, exchange programs, and major academic events will decrease, causing Boston to lose its connection with the global academic community. Moreover, as international flight routes are limited, Boston's international activities are beginning to shift to other cities like Toronto or Montreal, where international flights remain stable. This not only reduces Boston's standing as a global academic hub, but also affects the growth of the city's economy, which relies heavily on education and research. Portland Airport, a smaller airport but once an important destination for international travelers, is undergoing a significant change. International flights have nearly disappeared, causing Portland to gradually become isolated from the international community. The city, which is known for its charming natural beauty and once a popular destination for tourists, no longer maintains strong connections with other countries, particularly as international tourism declines. The lack of international flights has caused Portland to lose its competitive advantage over other cities. Previously, Portland attracted international visitors with its unique cultural features and a blend of nature and urban life. However, without international flight connections, the city is no longer an attractive option for international travelers, leading to a decline in tourist numbers and significant difficulties for service industries such as hotels, restaurants, and tourism. This isolation could also have a negative impact on Portland's economy, as the city can no longer tap into the international tourism potential it once had. Local businesses, especially those in the tourism industry, will need to find ways to recover and rebuild international connections in order to ensure sustainable growth moving forward. In summary, both Boston and Portland are facing a decline in international connectivity due to the reduction in international flights. This not only impacts the tourism industry, but also profoundly affects other sectors such as education, business, and local economic development. San Francisco Airport, one of the major international airports in the U.S., is witnessing a significant decline in international flights, particularly from major airlines. International carriers, including those from Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, have reduced direct flights to San Francisco, resulting in an increasing sense of isolation. San Francisco, known as a global technology hub, is now facing a shortage of key international connections. This decline not only diminishes San Francisco's global presence, but also directly impacts the tech industry, which is the foundation of the city's economy. Major tech companies, particularly giants like Google, Apple, and Facebook, which have close ties with international partners, now face major challenges in maintaining global relationships and operations. As international flights have been reduced, many tech companies have shifted operations to other cities, such as Toronto, Singapore, and London, where international flight connections remain strong. This situation not only affects the technology industry, but also has a broader impact on the U.S. economy. San Francisco has long been a hub for innovative and creative companies, attracting international investors and global talent. However, with the lack of international connectivity, the city risks losing its status as a global technology center that it has built over decades. The shift also means that San Francisco is losing its ability to attract international talent, which will further decrease innovation and creativity within the tech sector. To sustain growth and remain competitive in a globalized world, the city must find ways to restore its international connections and rebuild strong relationships with global partners. Miami Airport, once a vital gateway connecting the U.S. with Latin America, is now facing a decline in international flights, particularly from Latin American countries. Airlines have reduced the number of direct flights to Miami, while redirecting their services to other cities such as Mexico City and Panama City, which maintain more stable international flight routes and are less affected by issues in air connectivity. Miami, known as the economic and tourism hub of Latin America, is now losing its leading position. The city used to be a major destination for businesses and travelers from Latin American countries. But with the reduction in international flights, Miami can no longer maintain its strong connections with these important markets. This not only impacts tourism, but also affects other industries such as finance, real estate, and international trade. The loss of international flights has caused Miami to lose its competitive edge in tourism and international business. Resorts, hotels, restaurants, and other services are facing a shortage of international visitors, as Miami is no longer the top destination for people from Latin America. International businesses also feel the decline as companies are unable to maintain smooth trade operations as they did before. This shift directly impacts Miami's economy, as tourism, trade, and international events no longer generate the substantial revenue they once did. The city needs to quickly find ways to restore international air connectivity and rebuild strong relationships with Latin American partners to maintain its important position in the region. Los Angeles Airport, LAX, one of the largest and most important airports in the U.S., is witnessing a significant decline in international visitors. International airlines have reduced the number of direct flights to LAX, which is not only impacting tourism but also affecting the city's entertainment industry. LAX, the main gateway for international visitors coming to Hollywood, the heart of the film industry, is now losing an important part of its global connectivity network. The decline in international flights to LAX is not only reducing the number of visitors to Los Angeles, but is also causing Hollywood and the American entertainment industry to gradually lose their global influence. Hollywood, a global cultural symbol, has always attracted millions of international visitors through film events, studios, and popular tours. However, as international flights decrease, the city can no longer maintain its strong connections with international partners in the entertainment industry. This directly affects the U.S. entertainment industry, as Hollywood is no longer able to maintain its status as the global hub for film and television production. Film producers, actors, and international entertainment companies are increasingly seeking opportunities for collaboration and production in other countries, where air connectivity is more stable and costs are lower. This reduces Hollywood's appeal to global partners and causes the U.S. to gradually lose its leadership role in the entertainment industry. The decrease in international flights also impacts major Hollywood events such as the Oscars, international film premieres, and film conferences. Cultural exchange programs and international events no longer attract large numbers of international tourists and partners as they once did. To restore Hollywood's global influence and the U.S. entertainment industry's leadership, Los Angeles must find ways to revive international connections, maintain direct flights from major countries, and ensure that Hollywood remains the center of the global film industry. Major airports in the U.S., from Atlanta to Los Angeles, are gradually becoming symbols of the country's increasing international isolation. The decline in international flights not only impacts the tourism industry, but also affects the economy, culture, and other vital industries like education, entertainment, and technology. These changes reflect the reality that the U.S. is losing its global connectivity, which could have long-term consequences for the country's growth and influence. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below the video to share your thoughts on the decline in tourism and the growing isolation of the U.S. on the international stage. What do you think about the impact of reduced international flights on the economy and industries in the U.S.? We look forward to hearing your opinions.